Monster by Walter Dean Myers was originally published in 1999 by HarperCollins. It's about Steve Harper, who's a 16-year-old African-American. He lives in Harlem, New York, and he wants to be a screenwriter when he graduates. Through various circumstances, he is arrested and charged with murder. This book follows the trial and is written in a screenplay format as if Steve himself was watching the trial and writing down everything he saw. When I first heard about this book, I assumed it had been released pretty recently because it's pretty topical right now. I mean, racism in the justice system is a pretty big issue in America right now, and just racism in general. So it actually came out in 1999, as I said, and that really surprised me. There's a quote in the book that really stood out to me. It's Steve's lawyer talking to Steve, telling him how the trial's going, and they said, "Half of those jurors, no matter what they said when we questioned them, when we picked the jury, believed you were guilty the moment they laid eyes on you. You're young, you're black, and you're on trial. What else do they need to know?" So I spent a lot of my summer watching and reading everything I could find about the O.J. Simpson trial. It was just really intriguing to me, and I didn't know that the O.J. trial had that much, or had a lot to do with race, but it turns out it did. And so I really liked that aspect of learning about the O.J. trial, and so I was really happy that that came into play in this book, because I think it's such an important issue that we were dealing with obviously in the 90s, and we're still dealing with today, and I'm sure we were dealing with it long before the 90s. I did have a few problems with the book. Of course, I always have problems with books. I didn't think the characters were that well developed. I mean, we didn't really get to know them because of the screenplay format, so that was an issue. I didn't really care about what happened to them, which is pretty sad. I found some parts to be confusing, and I think it contradicted itself in a few points, and that really made me question Steve's innocence. You know, he says at the very beginning, "I'm innocent." His mother believes he's innocent. But I had my doubts because there were so many little pieces of the puzzle that didn't make sense. And I'm not sure if that was the author's intention, to make you question his innocence, or if you were just supposed to say, okay, he's innocent. So I found that to be an issue. I didn't feel that the screenplay format was really necessary. I understood why they did it, but it didn't help the story in any way. If I was to teach this book, I'd probably teach it to a junior or senior class of high school. I think classes could discuss racism in the justice system, and if it's really a big problem, they could discuss whether they really think Steve is innocent. I feel like that would be a great discussion in a class. I'd love to see that. I do think students would really enjoy this because of the new format, because a lot of books that people read in school, they're just written in a narrative format, and since this is written in a screenplay format, I think students would really enjoy that. They'd find it really interesting. And it has a few pictures thrown in, so that would keep them engaged as well. So overall, I would recommend this book. I think it's really important even, 17, 18 years later. I will also leave a link to the Goodreads page in the description in case you want to read some other perspectives on this book. And yes, thank you for watching.